Internet was invented back in 1969 when four different nodes were established between four different states, and they wanted to exchange some sort of data. It was actually developed by some universities and institutions who wanted to exchange these data under the government of United States of America. And then later, TCP/IP protocol was invented so that more networking application can be created, so they can start communicating with each other with different type of data or confidential data or maybe public data as well. 1989, World Wide Web protocol was created so that the public or the users or internet user, they can start browsing any website or any presentable data which you can call a website through the internet. This is a small chart you can see here which shows you or represent the timeline, how many different websites were created in the early 90s and then the post 2000. These were the most huge, like some of the giants companies, you can say, like Google, Facebook, and YouTube, Twitter. So these companies and the initial companies like early 90s companies, you can say Yahoo, Netscape, Lycos, and so many of them, I'm sure, MSN, AOL, and these are now very unknown to the internet world at the moment because they were best of their time. Many people have used, if they have used internet in early 90s, they must have used these kinds of search engines and so on. So this is something that created the entire internet world, and that's how the beginning of the internet and the ongoing applications start coming. Here you can see these Facebook and these things. Till this late internet technology, till early 2000s or 2000 around, the concept of the centralized world was very common between all kinds of web applications, websites, and companies. Like, for example, these all big giants like PayPal, Twitter, YouTube, Yahoo, Google, Facebook, Amazon, and so many other names that I can, there are like uncountable websites or application who have used the information, data information based on their needs. For example, Facebook, everyone knows what happened to the Facebook, what they did to the personal data of any individual user who were using their Facebook accounts. Similarly, Google, Yahoo, and so on, they have managed their data, but they were dictating their data. They were holding their the data of the user like a single entity, and based on their wishes, and they sold this data to third parties, and they misused this data. They when they found that politically it's something, it's it's against the will or something. I mean, politically, they have also decided to censor data which supposed not to be, but they decided for some stuff. For example, in the COVID 2020, there were some incident happened when they start hiding some information or tweets by the doctors who were who wanted to talk about the COVID related stuff. So the data censor, the internet that we grew up, it has no like a system where you can speak. So there is like no democracy on the internet. The owner wished to kill any application. For example, if you remember about the GeoCities, then GeoCities was one of the first free website hosting given by Yahoo, I think, a kind of a service by Yahoo, and then they stopped the service. So the entire data that you have uploaded there, it's gone forever. So these kinds of like volatility inside this internet world was very common in this from the early internet, initial early 2000s and 90s and so on. So internet, the data or internet application, nothing is permanent. It's something like you can say, because if you have some data, how you can say that this information cannot be duplicated by anyone else, and who can start spreading that this, suppose you create a super image, but someone is out there who is saying or claiming that it was created by himself. So how you can you can claim back that this information is belong to you. Similarly, disinformation, duplication, tampering is something that is a part of the entire centralized world of internet system, where this thing was very common. And owner wish to kill any application. As I said, changing data is so easy for them, that because all these data is under their control, they can dictate, they can change, they can update, and so on. So as a user who is using these kinds of websites or applications, they don't have any right to dictate anything, or can ask them to change back. I remember when Facebook changed their name to Meta, then I remember there was an account of someone whose account was named as Meta, and then he was forced to remove the Meta name, and he lost his followers and his tweets and everything, just because someone started owning this name. So internet in this centralized world is something like this, where you have to expect from these big companies that the data that your username and password is under their control, and if it is leaked on the on dark web, your website your credentials is leak on the dark web, then it is actually they don't own this thing. So again, everything is so it's not very simple.